Moving on from Man United, I want to ask a little bit about Chelsea here. Two big reports from Italy today that they are looking to sign Magic Mike and Victor Osimhen, which those two signings could help transform any team in the world. You'd have one of the best shot stopping and ball playing goalkeepers in European football, and one of the most deadliest bagsmen in world football. You add that to this Chelsea team that's full of great quality and great youth with great expectations this year with Poch. How would you feel about that, Connor?
I think starting with Maignan, I think if he came to Chelsea, I think he becomes the second best goalkeeper in the league behind Ederson. Maybe some people put Ederson above him. Mo, would you agree that Magnan's better than Ederson? Because you've obviously watched him a lot more.
Of Alisson or Ederson?
Ederson, yeah, Ederson. Second in the league.
Yeah, he's good with his feet and his shot stopping is elite. Yes, he is overall better than Ederson for me as a goalkeeper. Yes.
Yeah, so if we take that into account,
as well.
I think if we got Maignan, we've obviously got Kepa in goal, so anything's an upgrade on Kepa. Even Mendy would have been an upgrade, and we just got rid of him for 15 million or something to Saudi. So Maignan, yeah, huge upgrade, especially with the centre backs we're going to have. I think that's a very good triangle of. I think we're going to play Colwill, Fofana, and Maignan if we do get Maignan, and then obviously Victor Osimhen. I don't know how to feel about Osimhen. I feel like against low blocks, maybe he could be exposed. Like if we played against, I don't know, Everton or something. I don't know. I just don't see. Yeah. I just don't see him performing to that highest level.
I am kind of puzzled. Exactly, Lawless. I'm kind of puzzled. 2 weeks ago, Chelsea were priced out of Onana's deal. Priced out. And now they are in for Maignan, who is more expensive in Italy. They value him more than Onana. It's very strange situation. However, the links are real because Gazzetta dello Sport reported it. So the links are real. That actually Chelsea are talking to Milan to see what the price is. So I don't get that. I don't get why would you go for the more expensive goalkeeper.
No, I think
both of them are very good, but I think Onana, maybe I'm biased. I think Onana is better with his feet, way better with his feet. But again, why would you go for the more? They're valuing him at least at 70 to 80 million euros. That's 20 more than the value of Onana based on the both clubs' valuation. I don't get that deal, and I don't know how Chelsea are going to go and pay that much money for Maignan, even though he improves your team massively. But again, you would have spent 140 million on two goalkeepers in 3 years. Is that what it is Chelsea are doing now?
Yeah, it would be that. Yeah, Mo, what I'd say about Onana, I think he's probably rejected Chelsea. I think that's what's happened. I think he's probably seen interest from United, and he probably prefers Ten Hag because he's obviously worked with Ten Hag before, and he's probably having, there's uncertainty around, Pochettino, Chelsea, everything. So he's probably seen United's interest and favoured United. So that's probably why we pulled out. But the club would say, we pulled out, it's too expensive. But we know that's not true because we're going for Maignan. So, yeah, I think Onana's rejected us. I think that's why we've pulled out of that one.
Yeah, there is a new deal for Chelsea, which is Lukaku to Inter for a loan with an obligation to buy for 30 million next year, and exchange with Onana. That's also on the table for Chelsea, which is just surfaced today. Inter are considering it because Lukaku's loan price is 8 million a year, 8 million euros a year. So that means the buy option, it's not going to be an option, it's going to be an obligation to buy for 22 million euros next year. I don't think Inter should do it because he's going to be 31. He's going to ask for a contract that is 4 years. That means this guy, Lukaku, ends his contract at 35 years old, earning that much money. But that's a card that Chelsea can play, the Lukaku card. It's a card that Chelsea can play. Also, the Azpilicueta card, because Azpilicueta has a year left on his contract. Inter want him for free. So Chelsea has to terminate his contract so Inter can get him for free. These are the cards that Chelsea can play. Maignan is going to be straight cash. Give us the money so we can sort out our team because they just sold Tonali. I see Onana as a better goalkeeper. I see Onana probably going to Chelsea makes more sense because of the Lukaku and the Azpilicueta deal. But Man United are in for him. But Chelsea getting Maignan massive improvement on Kepa and Mendy. Massive improvement.
Wait, Mo.
Magnan's just so imposing, though, isn't
Yes.
he? I personally would have Maignan over Onana, only very slightly. I think I'm with you, Mo, in terms of ball playing and like passing distribution. Like Onana's passing is phenomenal. It's like a defensive midfielder almost, like just spraying balls around. But I want someone who's able to command their box. I want someone who's able to make the goal look small and talk to the back to the defense, because Chelsea over the last couple of years defensively have been struggling. You know, they do ship a lot of goals. There's been lots of changes, we know that, but I feel like Maignan could come in and steady the ship. I think he's a top quality goalkeeper, and I think if he was to come to the Premier League, he would be the second in behind Ederson. But it's just the options that were available to you. And like the thing is, Chelsea don't necessarily have to worry about spending money as such right now, because they're getting players off the books. They've sold a few players on now. You know, like if the Havertz deal does go through, which pretty much looks like it's done, they're 65. There's a couple of players that have gone off to Saudi already. Kovacic has gone to City for 25 mil as well. So in terms of balancing the books for FFP, they're in a good position. If they do need to splash out on someone, they can.
Mount's going to happen. Mount will happen for that 50 to 60, between 50 and 60 million. That's going to happen. So Chelsea are going to raise 250 odd million pound this year, plus the tens of millions in wages, which is a bigger focus for clubs often than the fees themselves. So yeah, I don't
as far as I understand, Chelsea, if they close June with less than 60 million losses, this year is done for them in FFP. You're allowed 3 years with 60 million losses. So if they sell the players before June and they get the money and they have less than 60, they can go and spend as much as they want from July and fix it later. That's a new year. This is why I think the Caicedo deal is still on hold. I think even the Maignan, the Osimhen. But I don't think that Chelsea will sign 3 marquee players. This is my personal opinion, not based on information. I think it might be 2 marquee signing, which is going to be a midfielder, which is most likely, as we all know, it's going to be Caicedo, and one of a striker, which is going to be in the caliber of an Osimhen or maybe even Kolomuani. But we need to put in mind that they signed Jackson and also a goalkeeper. So it's either going to be a midfielder and a striker, or a midfielder and a goalkeeper. I think this is why today it surfaced that Pochettino is happy to start at the beginning of the season with Kepa. So maybe he's preparing the people that, we can wait until January until we do the shopping for the goalkeeper, and we are content with what we have. Maybe that's why this surfaced today about I'm happy with Kepa starting the season. Maybe that's why.
It says, how much is Osimhen worth, Connor? Like, you linked to him as well. How much would you pay for Victor Osimhen if you could get him? What would you be willing to spend on a player of his ilk?
If Mason Mount is 100 million, just
120.
No, Mason Mount's 120 million.
So
How
mate, I have
many
to
years has
correct.
Osimhen got left
You're
on his contract?
2 years.
I'd say maximum for Osimhen is like 100, 120 to 100 to 120 for Osimhen. I wouldn't pay more than that. Because if you compare him to Kylian Mbappe, we'll go for what, 180 to 200. And if Napoli is saying Osimhen's worth 150, no way. Any club would rather put the extra 50 to Mbappe. I get the wages, but come on.
You get the but that's part of the deal. Kylian Mbappe makes $1 million a week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but any club.
But he's also marketable. But he's very marketable.
Yeah,
exactly.
I get what you're saying, but look, I'm not comparing Kylian Mbappe to Osimhen. But when you score 26 goals and you're one of the most lethal strikers in the market now, and looking at midfielders going for 90 to 100, I think Napoli are entitled to at least ask for like more money than a midfielder going. And he has a big fan base in Africa as well, so I think he's marketable as well. Victor Osimhen goes to Chelsea. These sell jerseys in Africa just like this. They make the money back in a heartbeat. These guys, look at Drogba when he was at Chelsea. Come on,
I'd rather just
he's
persist
very
with Jackson
marketable
for a
as
season.
well.
I'd rather just persist with Nicholas Jackson for a season and then go next summer for a striker than spend 150 on Osimhen.
But you think Jackson will solve Chelsea's problems? You actually didn't struggle last year with defense, right? You really just struggled with scoring. You were very good defensively most of the season. You didn't leak goals, even with Kepa and Mendy, by the way. Put that in mind. but you didn't score goals. You
Yeah, but
really struggled.
we've got, so on our wingers, we've got Sterling, Mudryk, Madueke. With a better manager, I think 2 out of 3 of those can do a lot better. Because Sterling got, what, 4 Premier League goals? I think with Poch, with his recent history at Man City, I think he can get over
8.
10. I think he can get 10 Premier League goals.
If your striker scores
Mudryk's
5 and your
hopeless.
winger
Mudryk-
score 8, you're in big trouble, my man.
Mudryk is hopeless, so
You're
discard
in big
Mudryk.
trouble.
I've got to remember Nkunku's there as well.
Yeah, Nkunku
Exactly.
as well.
So
I think
that's what I
Nkunku
wanted
gets
to
12.
ask. Is Nkunku coming as a striker? Because I've been
No.
told he isn't. They're saying he's an attacking midfielder behind the striker.
Yeah.
I've been told many people say many things. But anyway, like if you go with Nkunku and Jackson, you're assuming that Nkunku is your starting striker because Jackson is young. He's coming from the La Liga. Are you putting all your eggs in that basket? I doubt that.
I'd rather go for that for one season than spend 100 on Osimhen, or 150, sorry, and then look next season for a striker. I'd rather just try Jackson because realistically, this season, what does everyone expect like from Chelsea? Like
Challenge for the title if you spend that much
What
money.
this season?
Yeah, if you spend that much
Got
money,
to.
challenge for the title. Come on.
Look
Challenge
at the
for the
last
title
time
this
they
season.
Let's
finished
be
outside.
realistic.
You'd have to.
That 12th place does not reflect the Chelsea squad. You spent a lot of money. You put a lot of effort
100
into
of
the
that
squad.
was on Mudryk, and he's useless.
And 100 of that was on
you spend
Enzo
it,
and Badiashile. And
Ozzy Guna, when you look at Chelsea
Yeah.
next year, if they bring in like Magic Mike in goal, Osimhen comes in, Caicedo to play next to Enzo. As a rival looking at them, what do you expect? What do you feel should be the expectation against Chelsea next year?
The expectation for Chelsea next year, if they're going to bring names in like that, and that's horses for courses. Because I was gonna make a point. I think Chelsea have gone away from the let's try and fit players in. I think they're looking to get players to fit in as specialists. I don't think they're going to try and wing it and throw anyone in as a striker. I don't think they can afford that with the previous season. If they come in that hard, we've got to be speaking about Chelsea competing for the Premier League title and fighting for a top 3 finish, at least a top 3 finish. But challenging City all the way because of the kind of money they've spent, the new management that's come in, the business they're doing now is wonderful. Any Chelsea fan right now is looking and saying this is good business, but they got to continue in fashion. And if they were to get someone like Victor, in my opinion, because I think if they were to get Victor, everyone's in trouble. Because to be perfectly honest, Chelsea have needed a decent striker for a while, and I understand that there was a discussion as well about him maybe struggling in a low block, much like every striker. Every striker is going to struggle in a low block. I'm worried about Chelsea coming in and doing this now. If they were to come in, Caicedo, any one of the 2 goalkeepers, it doesn't even matter because they're both levels up. You know what I mean, Kepa, and they get Victor. I think it puts everyone on notice. Everybody's going to be looking and going, "Oh, here we go again. Here we go again." It'll be like the Roman era almost.
So you think we win the title next season or challenge?
I say you have to challenge for the title next season if you make those 3 signings. If you don't make those 3 signings, then if you don't make signings of that quality, if you don't make those 3 signings, of course you can't. But I don't see Chelsea going throughout the transfer window, not getting a Caicedo or a goalkeeper, or if they're going to be linked to Victor, it's not going to be a muckabout. It looks like Chelsea right now are not holding back. They're making moves, and if a player's interested, they're making serious moves. I think it's let's get players off the books. Once we get players off the books, let's get our players in. It's a no-nonsense approach, man.
Yeah. Victor Osimhen, guys, scored 26 goals in the most progressive team in Europe probably last year throughout the whole season, which is Napoli. They have more than 60-something% position in Serie A. Even we saw them when they play in the Champions League. They are not a team that sits back. And this guy scored 26 goals in a team that has most of the position. So he definitely can play against low blocks. He can run behind the defenses. I think he can do it all. This is from what I've seen last year. He can do everything. He can connect the play. He can drop to the sides and let the other guys go to the middle. I think he's really, really good, Victor Osimhen. He's an amazing striker, to be honest.
Is it because he's coming from Italy? People are sort of doubting him?
Yes, can he do it in the Prem?
I think it is.
Yeah, people are making out like Italy is like the league from the 90s. It's not that way anymore. It's not farmersy anymore, and there's a lot more teams that are playing much more progressive stuff. And I think that started off mainly with probably Atalanta, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, that brought that sort of excitement. And other teams in Italy, like, well, we've got better players than Atalanta, but they're playing a really attractive brand. Why don't we do it as well? And I feel like the attractiveness is starting to come back. That excitement is coming back from Serie A. But for me, I think Chelsea need to challenge for the league next season. And if you remember last time Chelsea were in this situation where they didn't have any European football, they had a dross season. The 15-16 season when they ended 10th or whatever it was.
Yes.
The following season, a little bit of tinker. And then they went on and won the league. And I'm not saying that they're going to win the league this year, but if they finish outside the top 4 this year, it's another failure for Chelsea. I don't think the fans are going to allow that to happen. But I just wanted to just say to it quickly on the striker situation. Chelsea, if you take away Drogba and Diego Costa, the last decent striker who was consistent and bagging was Hasselbank. It's a Chelsea thing.
Franco Zola.
Like, look how much talent that they've had in the last 20, 25 years, and they've not been able to turn it on.
Yeah, look, it's a massive season for Chelsea next year, and the expectations have always got to be big for all of our teams. And I don't think anyone's expecting them to go and win the league, but at least make it in the top 10. At least get it back into that top 10 next year. You know, but
Oh no.
we do have some break. I was going to go into